Have you ever met someone who is brilliant, who can solve any problem, who scores at the top of every test, but somehow still struggles in life? Maybe that person is you. Maybe you've spent years sharpening your mind, earning degrees, winning awards, yet you feel lonely, misunderstood, and stuck. You wonder, if I'm so smart, why is my life so hard? What if I told you that the thing holding you back has nothing to do with your brain? What if one man's painful lesson could show you the difference between being intelligent and being wise? Stay with me until the end. This story might change how you see yourself. In a busy city known for its tech companies and ambitious young professionals, there lived a 29-year-old engineer named Adrian. Adrian was, by every measurable standard, gifted. He graduated at the top of his university class. He could write code that senior developers struggled with. He solved technical problems faster than anyone in his department. His IQ, tested during his school years, placed him in the top 2% of the population. At work, his managers praised his output. His reports were flawless. His solutions were elegant. On paper, Adrian was the definition of success. But Adrian had a problem that no test could measure. Every day at lunch, Adrian ate alone at his desk, not because he was busy, but because nobody invited him. In meetings, when he spoke, people listened. But when the meeting ended, nobody stayed to talk. He noticed small things. Colleagues who laughed together in the hallway would go quiet when he approached, and team projects that started with enthusiasm would become tense and silent after he joined. Birthday celebrations in the office, he was always the last to know, and sometimes not told at all. Adrian told himself it didn't matter. "I'm here to work, not to make friends," he would say. "Results matter, feelings don't." His younger sister, Lena, was the only person who called him regularly. She worked as a school teacher in their hometown, a job Adrian considered far beneath her potential. "Adrian," she said one evening on the phone, "when was the last time you had dinner with a friend?" "I don't need friends, Lena. I need focus." "You need people, brother. Everyone does. People are complicated and irrational. I prefer problems I can actually solve." Lena sighed, and she had heard this before. The truth Adrian couldn't admit was simple. He was lonely. Deeply, painfully lonely. He could decode any algorithm, but couldn't decode a conversation. He could predict system failures, but couldn't predict why people got upset with him. He knew exactly how machines worked, but had no idea how human beings worked, including himself. And the worst part? He believed his intelligence made him superior, that if people didn't understand him, the problem was theirs. That belief was about to cost him everything. It started on a Monday morning in October. Adrian's company was working on a major project, a software system for a hospital network. The deadline was tight. Adrian, as the most technically skilled engineer, was appointed team lead, and within the first week, problems began. Adrian rejected his teammates' ideas without explanation. "That won't work," he would say flatly, then rewrite their code himself. When a junior developer asked for guidance, Adrian replied, "If you can't figure it out, maybe you shouldn't be here." He didn't mean to be cruel. In his mind, he was being efficient, honest, direct. He was saving time by cutting through emotion and getting to the truth. But to his team, he was something else entirely: cold, arrogant, and impossible to work with. By week 3, 3 of his 5 team members requested transfers to other projects. The remaining 2 stopped contributing, doing only the minimum. project fell behind, the client called to complain. Adrian's manager, a woman named Ms. Santos, called him into her office. "Adrian, I need to be direct with you. Your team has filed formal complaints. They say you dismiss their input, humiliate them in meetings, and refuse to collaborate. 3 people have asked to leave." Adrian was stunned. "I was trying to deliver the best product. Their ideas were inefficient. Their ideas were different, not inefficient. And even if they were, the way you communicated destroyed their motivation. Adrian, you're the smartest person in this building, but right now, you're also the most expensive liability we have." She paused. "I'm removing you from the team lead position. You'll remain as a solo contributor. But I want you to understand something. If this pattern continues, we'll have to let you go. Talent without the ability to work with people is talent that costs more than it's worth." That evening, Adrian sat in his apartment surrounded by the awards and certificates that had defined his entire identity. Top of his class, best engineer, highest scores, and none of it mattered. His phone buzzed, a message from his sister. "Heard you had a rough day. Call me if you want to talk." He didn't call. Instead, he sat in the dark and asked himself a question he had never asked before. If I'm so smart, why can't I make anything in my life actually work? For the first time, Adrian didn't have an answer. The next Saturday morning, Adrian forced himself out of his apartment. He walked aimlessly through a park near his building, something he hadn't done in years. He sat on a bench, staring at nothing, when an older man sat beside him. The man was perhaps in his 60s, with calm eyes and a quiet manner. He was feeding breadcrumbs to pigeons. "You look like someone carrying a heavy bag," the old man said gently. Adrian almost ignored him, but something about the man's tone, unhurried, genuinely curious, made him pause. "I lost my team at work," Adrian heard himself say. "I was supposed to lead them. Instead, they all left." The old man nodded slowly. "Were you a bad leader?" "No, I was the most qualified person there. That's not what I asked." The man smiled. "I asked if you were a good leader. Qualification and leadership are not the same thing." The man reached into his coat pocket and pulled out 2 small items, a flashlight and a candle. "Let me show you something," he said. He turned on the flashlight. The beam was bright, focused, imprecise. "This is intelligence, what people call IQ. It's powerful. It can light up a specific spot with great intensity. It finds answers. It solves puzzles. It cuts through darkness." Then he lit the candle. The flame was softer, warmer. It didn't shine as far, but it glowed in every direction. This is emotional intelligence, what some call EQ. It doesn't focus on one point. It fills the space around it. It makes people feel warm. It draws them closer instead of blinding them. He held up both. "Now tell me, if you were lost in the woods with 5 other people, which would you rather have?" Adrian thought, "The flashlight. It's more powerful. And where would the others go?" Adrian paused. "They'd follow the light, I suppose." "No." The old man shook his head. "They'd gather around the candle, because the flashlight points in one direction, yours. But the candle shares its warmth with everyone. People don't follow power, young man. They follow warmth." Adrian sat with that image for a long time. The old man continued, "IQ tells you what the right answer is. EQ tells you how to make people want to hear it. IQ helps you understand problems. EQ helps you understand people. And here is the part nobody teaches in school. Most of life's important problems are people problems. He counted on his fingers. Your career depends on people wanting to work with you. Your relationships depend on people feeling safe with you. Your leadership depends on people trusting you. And trust is not built by being right. Trust is built by being kind, by listening, by making others feel that they matter. Adrian felt something crack inside his chest. Not pain, recognition. He had spent his entire life sharpening the flashlight while ignoring the candle. "How do I change?" Adrian asked quietly. The old man stood up. "Start with 3 things. First, before you speak, ask yourself, will this make the other person feel smaller or bigger? If smaller, find a different way to say it. Second, listen to understand, not to correct. Most people don't want your solution. They want to feel heard. Third, remember that being right and being alone is not winning. It's the most expensive kind of losing." He dusted breadcrumbs off his coat and turned to leave. "One more thing," he said. "Intelligence is a gift you're born with. Emotional intelligence is a skill you choose to build, and the first one opens doors. The second one keeps people from shutting them in your face." The following Monday, Adrian returned to work. But this time, he carried something different. Not a plan to prove himself, but a decision to change himself. It started small. In a meeting that afternoon, a colleague presented a solution that Adrian immediately saw was flawed. His instinct was to say, "That won't work." Instead, he paused. He remembered, will this make them feel smaller or bigger? He took a breath and said, "That's an interesting approach. I see where you're going with it. Can I add a suggestion that might help with the second part?" The colleague looked surprised, then smiled. "Sure, go ahead." It was a small moment, but it felt enormous. Days passed. Adrian made deliberate effort. When someone spoke in a meeting, he put down his pen and made eye contact. When a junior developer struggled, instead of taking over, he sat beside them and asked, "What have you tried so far? Walk me through your thinking." It was uncomfortable. Every part of him wanted to jump to the answer. Listening felt slow. Asking questions felt inefficient. But he kept doing it. After 2 weeks, something shifted. People started greeting him in the hallway. A colleague invited him to lunch for the first time. His new team, smaller but willing to work with him, began sharing ideas openly because they no longer feared being dismissed. 1 month later, a real test came. The hospital project, the one he had been removed from, hit a critical bug that nobody could solve. Miss Santos came to Adrian. "Your old team needs help, but I need to know. Can you help without taking over?" Adrian nodded. "I'll try." He joined the emergency meeting. He saw the problem within minutes. But instead of announcing the fix, he asked the team questions that guided them to discover it themselves. When they found it, he said, "That's excellent work. I wouldn't have thought of approaching it that way." It wasn't entirely true, but it was kind, and the look on their faces, pride, relief, confidence, told him something important. Being generous with credit costs nothing and builds everything. The project launched on time. When Ms. Santos reviewed the outcome, she called Adrian in again. "I've received feedback from the team. They said you were helpful, respectful, and collaborative." "Adrian, then that's the first positive team feedback you've received in 3 years at this company." She paused. "I'd like to offer you the lead position on our next major project, but this time, It's not because of your technical skills. It's because your team actually wants to work with you. Adrian felt something he hadn't experienced in years. Not pride in being right, but pride in being wanted. That evening, he called Lena. "You were right," he said. "I needed people. I just didn't know how to be with them." Lena laughed. "Look at you. The genius finally figured out the obvious." "The obvious," Adrian said quietly, "was the hardest thing I've ever learned." My friend, Adrian's story is not just about work or leadership. It's about something we all face. We live in a world that worships intelligence. We're graded, ranked, and rewarded for how much we know. From childhood, we're told that being smart is the key to success. But here's what nobody tells you. Intelligence gets you into the room. Emotional intelligence is what makes people glad you're there. IQ without EQ is like a flashlight without warmth. You can see far, but you walk alone. The most successful people in life are not always the smartest. They're the ones who know how to listen, how to make others feel valued, and how to lead without making people feel small. So here is your challenge. The same lesson Adrian learned the hard way. First, the next time you want to correct someone, pause. Ask yourself, is being right more important than this relationship? If not, find a gentler way to share your truth. And second, practice listening without planning your response. When someone speaks to you, focus on what they feel, not just what they say. You'll be surprised how much you've been missing. Third, this week, say something kind to someone you normally ignore, a colleague, a neighbor, a stranger. Not because you need something, but because kindness is the language that every human being understands, and it costs nothing to speak. You don't need to choose between IQ and EQ. You need both, the flashlight to find the path and the candle to bring others along. But if you had to choose one, choose the candle. Because a brilliant mind that walks alone will never go as far as an open heart that walks with others. Adrian had the highest IQ in his building, but he nearly lost everything because he never learned the simplest truth. People don't remember what you know. They remember how you made them feel. Don't make his mistake. If this story made you think of someone, maybe yourself, maybe someone you know, share it with them. Sometimes the smartest people need the simplest reminders. If this message resonated with you, leave a like and tell me in the comments. Do you think EQ matters more than IQ? I'd love to hear your perspective. And subscribe to this channel for more stories that help you grow, not just smarter, but wiser. Remember, intelligence opens doors, but kindness is what keeps them open. Stay wise, stay kind, and never stop learning how to be human.